His Excellency, the Head of State. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my Literature TV online media, owned by teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, which is based on rising literary books. Dear listeners, especially teachers, student Form 5 and Form 6, college student, university student, tutorials, and lecturers. Listen to the beloved novel, His Excellency, the Head of State, written by Safo in 1983. The setting of the novel is imaginal. There is no country called Britannia. However, the writers want to make it clear that it is in West Africa that he writes about, and a former British colony. He repeatedly tells us that the country's neighboring states, including Ghana and Nigeria. The title of the novel, His Excellency the Head of State, is satirical. It is used to satirize Musante's failure. The phrase His Excellency is used to address ambassador or president. The title is satirical because it is mock Musante. He does not deserve such respect. This is because he failed to lead Britannia. Theoretically, Musante leads Britannia, but practically, the country is led by Prophet Akaba and Professor Amoro, who are his closest advisors. Musante does not have any ideas of his own about leadership of the country. Let us ask ourselves, does he deserve to be called His Excellency the Head of State? The title has been artistical, mooded. It attracts the attention of the readers. Once a reader looks at the title, he or she will be eager to know who is His Excellency the Head of State. The plot of the novel, arranged chronological and straightforward, starting with the military coup staged by Musante and his supporters, then through his leadership, and lastly, the coup by Boko and his supporters. However, flashbacks are used inevitably, especially to give readers some necessary background information in relation to some people placed. Examples include how Prophet Akaba founded his church and the military training of the General Musante. Foreshadowing is also used, for instance, where Mr. Amoa says Prophet Akaba will have a bad ending. This is shown in page 104. There are more examples from the book. Look for them as part of your exercise. The story is told in third-person singular point of view, where the storyteller narrates what happened in that country. This novel has 12 chapters. Chapter 1 begins with Colonel Musante takes over the government of Britannia through a military coup. Chapter 2 Western power adopt anti-Britannia trade policy. President Musante sacks the governor. Chapter 3 General Musante visits Prophet Akaba. The prophet tells him that the solution is to adopt the principle of self-reliance. Chapter 4 The principle of self-reliance and the operation Feed Yourself Yourself. Chapter 5 Prophet Akaba's church holds a class in Sago non-secularism. Chapter 6 The SMG declare a war on the economy and adopt the policy of inflationary financialism. Chapter 7 Prophet Akaba visits the United States. Reverend Hammer attacks the prophet's church. Prophet Akaba plans to revenge. Chapter 8 Prophet Akaba criticizes his critic. The Presbyterian church is burned down. He performs more miracles. He gets more criticism. More church are burnt. Chapter 9 Inflation lied his soldiers Moralist Girls University student demonstrate Dr. Takida is fired from the NRC. Chapter 10 Critania in a learning away infraction university student loyalty. The police open fire and the lecturer is killed. The government closes down all university. Chapter 11 Student educate the masses at home. Various working groups riot frequently. The SMG rises salaries and the wages and the worsen inflation. The last chapter, which says the Musantes regime is overthrown. The characters in this novel can be put into broad groups. There are the group of self and the greedy individual. Here we have General Musante, Prophet Akaba, Professor Isaac Amoro, the governor, and Mr. Mashid. There are few people who enrich themselves at the expense of everyone else. In the right are chopping Titania small. The second group of characters are honest, patriotic individuals. They are represented by Dr. Larry Kibaki, Dr. Takida, the moderator of the Presbyterian Church, and the university student and the professional men and the last women of Critania. The following are the important characters. The first character who is President Bawa. He was the president of Critania before being overthrown by Colonel Musante. He comes power through the National Redemption Party, NRP. He is helped by Prophet Akaba to come to power. Akaba campaigned for him and ordered his church followers to vote for him. He belonged to the same tribe as Akaba. Bawa trusts Colonel Musante very much. The second character who is Prophet Moses Braham Akaba. He is the founder of Life After Life Church, while a teacher at Asaman Secondary School. He belonged to the same tribe as Bawa and General Musante. He had advised Colonel Musante to overthrow Bawa, his spiritual leader. He impregnated a girl whom he was forced to marry. He became the greatest advisor of Colonel Musante after the revolution. The third character was General Kitiki Musante. He was a soldier in the 1st Battalion before getting promoted by President Bawa from the position of Director of National Service to Commander in the 1st Battalion. He is one of Royal Members Life After Life Church. This is shown on page 4. His Excellency the head of state on whom the title of the book is based. He overthrew Bawa while Bawa is in USA attending a conference. He does not like criticism. The fourth characters whose university students, they are very happy after the revolution. They are ready to die in the name of change. The fifth character was Dr. Nelly Takida. She is a woman, very beautiful, and that is why she is called BB. She is a professor of economics at the University of Nast. She is appointed a member of National Reconstruction Commission. She is courageous and transparent. She is used to show that women can do something in the society. The sixth character, which is Dr. Kibaki, he is the chief economist of Critania. He is patriotic. He is courageous. The seventh character is Professor Isaac Amora. He is the governor of the Central Bank of Critania. He was previously a lecturer in the Department of Economics at Critania University. The eighth character was moderator Hammer. He is the minister of the Presbyterian Church. He preached against Akaba and his church. The ninth character was Mr. Amoa. The last character is a lecturer of sociology at Nast University. He is totally against under democratic rule. There are two things to consider here, namely, use of language and the literary technique is used by the writer to convey his message. Example: technical language. For example, Dr. Kibaki talks about taxes. This is on page 46, and Dr. Takida talks about inflation. This is on page 3. Another, which is religion language, Prophet Akaba uses biblical language. Example: kneel down and let me bless you and call for God's constant protection. Poetic language songs are used. Example: we shall overcome. This is on page 36. Proverbs. Example: hairy man is an angry man. This is on page 119. Literary technique, which is figures of speech. Example: imagery. Example: things. The description of the meaning of the calf by Msand, page 1. Person. The description of the physical appearance of General Msand, page 32. Another figure of speech is the iron. The title is ironical, since General Msand does not deserve the dignity of His Excellency the head of state. Another figure of speech, idioms. Example: out of hand, shown on page 111. Another example of idioms, all the dust had settled, shown page 7. Let us look at the themes which is found in this norm for His Excellency the head of state. The first, ignorance. Example: Prophet Akaba does not know who he truly is. Leader do not know how to fight inflation. The second theme, which is irresponsible spirit. Example: Msante and Dr. Kibaki. Another theme, corruption. Example: Prophet Akaba, shown page 68. Dr. Takida bribes the petrol station attendant. Another theme, betrayal. Example: the leaders have betrayed the masses. Another theme, sacrifice. Example: university students are ready to suffer for other citizens. Another theme, neo-colonialism. Britannia is among countries suffering from foreign domination. Another theme, hypocrisy. Example: leaders. Another theme, bad leadership. Example: leaders. And the last theme, selfishness. Who are leaders? Selfishness. They are owning their Cadillac car and good houses. Let us look at the conflict as element of literature. The first, student confrontation with the police and the military. There is a conflict between the student and the police against the fighting for freedom and for the light. The second conflict, confrontation among the NRC members. There is a member of NR to the government. That is a conflict. The last conflict, which is conflict between professionalism and the government. The people who struggle for their citizens being in conflict with the government. Let us look at the position of women in the society. The woman portrayed in a positive way and a negative way. The first, portrayed as the courageous and committed. Example: Dr. Takida. The second, women portrayed as the instrument of enjoyment. With that, the different women in Britannia countries portrayed as tools for enjoyment for the women, for the men. His Excellency, the head of state, warned African countries against the effect of anti-democratic rule. The country should remove bad leadership if they remain peaceful and their lives develop. That is the end. My name is teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige from Mwenga Soliki University, Moshi District. I'm a third year now, 2022. I'm saying goodbye, Rosemary Liberate. Thank you for listening.